Last month, Felicia asked us to write down our Toastmasters goals. For me, it was easy. I wanted to be better prepared for future speeches. I didn't want to wait until 48 hours prior to delivery to start writing my speech and to try to memorize it. I have problems with memorization. So in order to be better prepared for this speech, which I knew I had to give at that particular day, I decided to start early. And I looked at the manual, I thought, entertaining speech, I should be able to pull this off, but I had writer's block. So I handed it to my husband, Bill, and I said, Bill, can you help me with this? He has a pretty good sense of humor. And he looks at it for a few minutes and he hands it back to me and he says, why don't you write a speech about how different our communication styles are? And I thought, wow, that will be entertaining. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, this isn't a speech about the difference between how men and women communicate. This is a speech about how an engineer communicates and how a normal person communicates. You see, my husband Bill is an engineer. Personally, I'm a jackrabbit. I'm a very fast articulator, very fast thinker. Bill, on the other hand, is slow and deep. He tells me that I speak in random sequences and in fragments. I tell him he overanalyzes everything. This is how I know when Bill's overanalyzing things. Literally, I call it his CPU. I'll talk to Bill about something, and the next thing I know, I see this. Bill, it's okay. What I really meant was, and then he just does this. He has a sigh of relief. His eyes stop scanning, and we can go on to the next thought. We get invited. We're very social, so we get invited to a lot of people's homes for dinners and things like that. We get invited to Jim and Joan's house for dinner. And Bill has met Jim and Joan probably 4 or 5 times. We've been to their house once or twice. Nothing, blank stare. Bill, you remember Jim and Joan. They live in Falcon. We went to their house for dinner one time. Bill, they had Mexican food for us. Bill, they have 4 boys and 2 dogs. Bill, he works for the Air Force. He's 6 foot tall and he has red hair. Oh, Jim and Joan. Oh, that's great. What are the rules of engagement? Right? Bill not only is an engineer, he works for the Air Force. So we have government speak to deal with as well. Rules of engagement? What do you mean rules of engagement? We're going to somebody's house for dinner. After meeting with Bill for 3 years, I now know that rules of engagement mean, oh, well, Bill, we're supposed to bring a bottle of wine as a hostess gift. You can wear jeans. It starts at 6 and we'll probably be there for a couple hours. In my career, I'm always extremely busy and I'm always stressed out, I'm overwhelmed, I'm scheduling showings for buyers, I'm inputting listings, I'm trying to pay my bills, I'm taking care of my mom, and just like, oh, I'm so stressed. And he just looks at me and he says, Caryn, you're task saturated. Task saturated? I so badly wanted to share that with all of you because isn't that just an awesome way to say, doesn't that sound better than I'm frazzled, I'm stressed, and I'm overwhelmed? Task saturated. Bill also is horrible at directions, which is kind of amazing to me as an engineer. You would think he'd be able to figure out his way around. But he's been living at my house for 1.5 years, and we go downtown, and we always take this little back road. And I always have to tell, we go downtown a couple times a week, but I still have to tell him every time how we go, how to get there. Finally, I figured out how to get him there, and I tell him to turn right at the bus bench. Now, you know how many bus benches are in town, right? But he can zero in on that, as he calls it, that bus bench is my vector to the real world. Our differences in the way we think about things and visualize things, him as an engineer, me as a normal person, definitely provide a bit of challenge in the household, but I am learning a whole new communication style, one of patience, a little bit more articulate I have to be, a little bit more questions that need to be answered. And now you might be wondering how this all ties in with speech preparation and Felicia's challenging us to meet our goals by challenge all of you Toastmasters to give me positive feedback about how you thought my presentation was today and my preparation. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.